I wore a cheap old sweater to rent a small cold room today. I only had $50 in my old brown purse. But the nervous manager looked at my name and started shaking completely. He told me I actually owned his entire tall, expensive building. My name is Elena. I worked as a busy head nurse for 30 long, difficult years. I learned how to check vital signs and read complex medical charts perfectly. I always stayed incredibly calm during massive, terrible, bloody hospital emergencies. Panic never helps a dying, sick patient. My sweet, quiet husband Robert died exactly 8 long years ago. He was a very smart, successful, hard-working business engineer. His smooth, handsome business partner Victor handled all the complex company money. Victor and his fake sweet wife Sylvia visited me right after the sad funeral. Sylvia cried fake hot wet tears and hugged my tired shoulders. Victor looked incredibly serious and told me a terrible, sad, dark lie. He said Robert left massive, heavy, dangerous company debts behind. He claimed my poor husband lost absolutely everything before his sudden, quiet death. Victor promised to pay me a very small, basic monthly allowance. He said he wanted to honor his dead best friend completely. I trusted his smooth, professional voice and signed his legal papers. I lived a very quiet, cheap, simple, poor life for 8 long years. My apartment heater broke completely during this freezing cold, bright morning. I decided to rent a much cheaper, smaller, dark room nearby. I walked into the bright, expensive, shiny real estate office slowly. I handed the young, smart manager my simple, cheap, basic identification card. The manager typed my name into his bright, glowing computer screen. He gasped incredibly loudly and his eyes grew totally, perfectly wide. He told me I did not need to pay cheap monthly rent. He said I was the absolute supreme owner of this massive luxury property. He turned his bright screen around for my tired old eyes. I saw my own name listed as the supreme wealthy corporate owner. I also saw a massive hidden secret trust fund account. The screen showed exactly 120 million rich, shiny dollars. The young manager showed me another very strange official legal document. It was a massive, expensive luxury property purchase record completely. The bottom line showed my own personal private legal signature clearly. But I never signed that important heavy legal paper in my life. Victor used my forged, stolen signature to buy massive, expensive buildings. He quietly stole my millions and paid me tiny, cheap pennies. I did not scream or cry hot, angry, bitter tears today. My quiet, cold nurse brain started planning the absolute perfect, massive surgery. I did not call the loud, angry city police immediately today. I needed to check the vital signs of my massive infection first. A smart, careful nurse always gathers pure, solid, true facts perfectly. I decided to attend a fancy, rich dinner party at Victor's massive mansion. I wore my cheap old gray dress to the bright party. Victor lived inside an incredibly huge, expensive, beautiful luxury palace. The bright crystal lights shine down on his wealthy, proud guests. I walked through the loud, crowded room completely, totally, absolutely silently. Sylvia walked down the tall, wide stairs looking like a queen. She wore a stunning, beautiful, expensive, shiny, dark green dress. But my quiet, tired eyes noticed something incredibly familiar and shocking. A massive, heavy, bright green emerald rested perfectly on her chest. Robert designed that exact special, beautiful emerald necklace for me entirely. Victor told me a dirty thief stole it from the hospital. He claimed the precious, beautiful jewelry vanished the day Robert died. Now the shiny, stolen green rock decorated his fake, sweet, greedy wife. I kept my face completely, perfectly, incredibly, totally, absolutely still. I smiled a small, quiet, simple, polite smile at the happy couple. Victor grabbed my thin arm and pulled me into a dark room. He closed the heavy wooden door to speak with me privately. He sighed incredibly loudly and rubbed his fake, tired, rich eyes. He told me the business market was crashing very terribly fast. He claimed his company was losing massive, heavy, rich money daily. He acted like a completely exhausted, totally stressed, poor, sad victim. Victor said he needed to cut my small monthly allowance completely. He told me he could only pay half the normal cheap amount. He suggested I sell my small cheap things very quickly today. He warmly advised me to move into a cheap public nursing home. He placed his warm, heavy hand on my cold, thin shoulder. He said he only wanted the absolute best, safe future for me. His dirty, dark, ugly, toxic lies smelled incredibly, terribly, deeply rotten. He wanted to trap me inside a dark, quiet, locked medical cage. I looked directly into his lying, confident, dark brown eyes quietly. I nodded my gray head slowly and thanked him for his help. I acted like a totally stupid, weak, blind, poor, fragile old widow. I walked out of his massive, expensive, stolen mansion completely, perfectly, calmly. My dead husband left me a massive, heavy, rich, beautiful empire. These cruel, dirty thieves stole my life and my precious memories. They thought I was totally, perfectly ready to die alone quietly. They never realized a calm, careful nurse knows exactly how to cut. I drove directly to a very expensive, quiet downtown city building. I met an incredibly smart, older financial lawyer named Mr. Vance. He was a famous, brilliant expert at catching dirty, greedy corporate thieves. I paid his massive, heavy legal fee using my secret rich trust money. Mr. Vance investigated Victor and his massive, shiny, fake luxury business. He worked incredibly fast and totally, perfectly, absolutely, silently all week. He discovered several fake invisible shell companies hiding in the dark. Victor used them to steal my rich trust fund money completely easily. Mr. Vance called me into his bright, clean office next morning. He looked at me with deep, pure, absolute, total professional respect. He said my sweet dead husband was an incredibly brilliant, smart man. Robert secretly prepared a massive, heavy, invisible weapon to protect me completely. Robert did not trust his smooth, shiny, greedy business partner entirely. He secretly rented a massive, heavy metal safe at the Federal Bank. He locked a very special, important, tiny object inside the dark box. Victor tried to open the heavy, secure metal box many times before. But Victor failed completely, totally, absolutely, incredibly, perfectly every single time. The bank required a very special, unique physical, biological living key. The heavy steel door only opened for my specific personal fingerprint. Robert used my exact biological identity to protect our dark, hidden secrets. Mr. Vance drove me to the secure, quiet, strict Federal Bank. I pressed my right thumb against the bright, glowing green glass scanner. The heavy, thick, solid metal door clicked loudly and opened perfectly slowly. I reached my shaking hand into the dark, cold, empty space. I found a tiny, simple black digital memory stick resting quietly. We plugged the small dark object into a secure, safe computer screen. The bright monitor showed thousands of complex, heavy financial bank records. It was a massive, perfect, complete map of pure, dirty criminal greed. Robert secretly collected 10 long years of terrible, ugly, dirty evidence. The documents proved Victor avoided paying his massive, heavy national taxes. They showed exactly how he washed dirty stolen money completely clean. The brilliant secret files contained enough solid proof to destroy him forever. Victor thought he was incredibly smart and totally perfectly legally safe. He believed he completely erased every single dirty, dark criminal mistake. But my sweet, quiet, dead husband watched his dirty hands very carefully. Robert saved my tired, broken life from his cold, dark, silent grave. We possess the absolute, ultimate, perfect, deadly, heavy legal weapon today. We did not need to fight a long, difficult, messy civil war. We had enough pure, raw, dangerous power to call the federal police. The massive, beautiful, quiet, invisible trap was finally completely, perfectly, fully armed. A smart nurse knows how to trigger a fast physical reaction. You inject a special chemical and watch the sick body respond completely. Mr. Vance and I decided to inject pure, absolute, total panic today. We wanted Victor to make a massive, terrible, deadly, stupid, fatal mistake. Mr. Vance possessed many powerful, important friends in the federal government. He asked a strict official tax agent to send a simple letter. The quiet official paper announced a random surprise financial corporate audit. The letter arrived at Victor's massive, expensive corner office this early morning. We monitored his secret hidden bank accounts completely, perfectly, silently today. We waited for his greedy, arrogant, proud heart to beat dangerously fast. Victor received the fake, simple legal warning and panicked totally, completely, instantly. His arrogant, shiny, calm fake mask melted into pure, raw, dark terror. He rushed to his private, secure, expensive computer completely, totally, blindly. He needed to hide his stolen, dirty money incredibly, perfectly, quickly. He ordered his quiet, nervous accountant to move $5 million rich dollars. He sent the massive, heavy cash to a secret island bank account. Victor thought the invisible offshore account was perfectly, totally, completely safe. He believed the strict federal tax agents could never find his money. He breathed a very heavy, deep sigh of pure, massive, fake relief. But his tired, desperate, greedy brain made an incredibly terrible, stupid choice. The secret invisible island bank account was not actually his property. Mr. Vance created that specific fake digital location many weeks ago. It was a beautiful, shiny, sweet, dangerous electronic honey trap completely. Victor walked directly into our invisible, open, waiting arms incredibly, perfectly, blindly. He voluntarily wired $5 million stolen dollars into a federal cage. The strict, serious national police agents monitored the fake account constantly. They recorded his massive, illegal, dirty financial transfer perfectly cleanly today. They possessed pure, absolute, raw video evidence of his terrible, dark crime. We did not need to prove he forged my old signature anymore. He committed a massive, fresh, brand new federal crime this very morning. The strict, angry federal agents smiled at the glowing green computer screens. Victor officially legally locked his own dark, heavy, dirty metal prison door. I sat in my small, cheap, cold apartment drinking hot, sweet tea. I checked the digital vital signs of his dying fake corporate empire. The disease of his own toxic dark greed was killing him naturally. The quiet, steady, beautiful medicine of justice was working incredibly, perfectly well. My cheap old wooden door knocked very loudly the next sunny morning. I opened it and saw Sylvia standing perfectly quietly outside my room. She held a massive, expensive, beautiful, heavy fruit basket in her hands. She wore a bright, friendly, happy fake smile on her painted face. She walked inside my small, cold home without asking my permission. She said she felt incredibly, terribly, deeply worried about my sad health. She unpacked expensive hot sweet tea and poured me a large cup. She acted like a wonderful, sweet, caring, beautiful, perfect, loving young daughter. Then she smoothly pulled a thick, heavy legal paper from her bag. She told me it was a simple, basic, routine medical update form. She asked me to sign the bottom line very quickly and easily. She handed me a shiny, expensive gold pen with a sweet smile. I took my thick reading glasses from my old gray sweater pocket. I did not sign the important heavy paper completely blindly or quickly. I read every single tiny complex legal word incredibly slowly and carefully. A smart, careful nurse never administers strange medicine without reading the label. I reached the absolute final quiet bottom page of the heavy document. I found a very tiny, hidden, dark, cruel, dangerous, ugly secret paragraph. The legal words gave Victor total, absolute, complete, supreme medical control today. He could force me into a locked, dark psychiatric hospital forever, totally. I placed the expensive gold pen gently on the old wooden table. I told Sylvia I would never sign her dirty, terrible, dark trap. Her bright, happy, friendly, fake smile vanished completely, instantly, and totally forever. Her pretty painted face turned incredibly cold, hard, nasty, dark, and cruel. She leaned across the small wooden table looking incredibly, deeply dangerous. She whispered that old lonely women fall down steep stairs very often. She said terrible, sad, fatal accidents happen to stubborn, stupid old widows. She threatened to hurt my weak, tired body incredibly, terribly, permanently today. I did not scream loudly or cry hot, wet, scared, bitter tears. I simply pointed my thin finger toward the high, dark ceiling corner. A tiny new black digital security camera blinked a small red light. I installed the bright recording device early this quiet, safe, sunny morning. I told Sylvia the clear digital video was streaming perfectly safely online. I said her terrible, cruel, violent, dark threat was completely, permanently recorded. I ordered her to leave my small, safe, quiet house completely, instantly. She looked at the tiny red light in pure, absolute, total terror. She dropped her expensive, shiny designer bag and ran away incredibly fast. She left her toxic, sweet, hot tea completely untouched on the table. The greedy, foolish little mouse ran away from the quiet, sleeping cat. They truly had absolutely zero idea who they were actually fighting today. Victor felt completely, absolutely terrified about his crashing, invisible, stolen empire. He decided to attack my quiet, peaceful life incredibly aggressively today. He called a massive emergency corporate board meeting instantly. He wanted to officially, permanently remove my legal ownership powers completely. He planned to trap me before the federal agents arrived. He sat inside the massive, expensive, bright corporate meeting room. He smiled his shiny, fake, confident smile at the wealthy directors. He told them I was a crazy, sick, old, weak woman. He claimed I was totally, dangerously, mentally unstable and confused. He asked the quiet, serious board members to vote immediately today. He prepared to steal my entire beautiful, massive company entirely. He truly believed I was hiding safely inside my small, cheap, cold apartment. But the heavy, thick wooden double doors opened incredibly loudly. I walked inside the bright, expensive room completely, perfectly, calmly. I did not wear my cheap old gray sweaters anymore today. I wore a beautiful, expensive, sharp, dark corporate power suit. My smart lawyer, Mr. Vance, walked quietly right beside me. 3 serious, strict federal police agents entered the large room too. Victor looked incredibly, completely, absolutely shocked and totally, completely terrified. His fake, confident, shiny plastic smile melted away completely, instantly, forever. I walked past his shaking, weak body completely, totally, silently. I sat directly at the head of the massive, long wooden table. I handed the silent, shocked directors a single official legal document. Robert secretly hid a massive, powerful legal weapon inside the company. My sweet dead husband gave me the ultimate, absolute, supreme golden share. My single legal vote controlled the entire massive, wealthy corporation completely. I possessed total, absolute, complete legal power over the entire corporate business. I officially, instantly, permanently froze all of Victor's voting rights. I looked directly into his terrified, sweating, dark, ugly eyes. I fired him from the massive, expensive corporate company completely, publicly. I stripped away his rich, powerful luxury corporate title totally, forever. The strict federal agents watched him shake in pure, absolute, total, massive terror. A smart nurse knows exactly how to remove a sick tumor. You cut the dark, dangerous, ugly infection out completely, instantly, cleanly. You never leave a single tiny dirty piece behind to grow again. My massive, quiet, invisible, beautiful corporate surgery was perfectly, absolutely successful. Victor was a completely, incredibly arrogant, greedy, desperate, dark monster. He totally, absolutely refused to surrender his fake, rich, luxury life. He hired a very expensive, hungry, angry lawyer to fight me. He filed a crazy, stupid, fake civil lawsuit against me immediately. He officially claimed the stolen millions were simple legal management fees. He said I signed the complex, heavy legal papers completely voluntarily. We walked into a bright, quiet, serious legal room for questioning. Victor wore a beautiful, expensive, shiny, dark suit and smiled confidently. He answered every single sharp, difficult legal question incredibly, perfectly, smoothly. He constantly told my smart lawyer he did not remember anything. He acted like a completely innocent, sweet, tired, hard-working, honest victim. Then his expensive lawyer brought a very special, surprise, secret witness. A tall, confident, older medical doctor walked into the quiet room. The doctor claimed he treated my sick old mind for years. He officially, legally swore I suffered from severe, deep memory loss. He said I was completely, totally, mentally broken and extremely confused. Victor smiled, a very tiny, cruel, quiet, dark, nasty, ugly smile. He thought his fake paid medical witness completely destroyed my case. But my brilliant, smart lawyer, Mr. Vance, possessed another massive secret. A good nurse always checks the official medical history records carefully. Mr. Vance placed a thick, heavy bank folder on the wooden table. He showed the nervous older doctor a specific, clear financial record. Victor secretly wired a massive, huge amount of money last week. He sent the rich, heavy cash directly to a violent gambling casino. Victor paid off the doctor massive, dangerous, illegal, secret gambling debts. He bought the fake medical testimony to steal my rich trust fund. The older doctor looked at the clear, solid, absolute, pure proof. He started shaking incredibly violently and sweating very heavy, cold drops. The doctor completely, totally panicked and broke down completely, instantly today. He confessed the entire dirty, dark, ugly, fake, illegal plan loudly. He admitted Victor paid him to tell those terrible, dangerous lies. Victor closed his dark, angry eyes in pure, absolute, total defeat. His expensive, smart lawyer packed his heavy bags and walked away. The lawyer knew Victor was completely, totally, officially, permanently, legally doomed. My quiet, beautiful, slow, invisible, perfect, sweet medicine was working wonderfully. The toxic disease was finally destroying itself from the deep inside. Victor finally understood he was going to a dark, cold prison. His fake, beautiful, wealthy, shiny plastic world was completely, permanently broken. He sent my smart lawyer a very desperate, quiet legal offer. He promised to return half the stolen millions immediately to me. He only asked me to drop the heavy, strict federal criminal charges. I sat in my small, quiet apartment and drank hot, sweet tea. I did not want half of my own stolen rich money back. I wanted absolute, pure, complete, total, flawless, clean, beautiful, perfect justice today. My bright, smart digital phone rang very quietly later that night. It was Victor's fake, sweet, beautiful, incredibly greedy wife Sylvia calling. She spoke with a very quiet, nervous, terrified, shaking small voice. She offered me a massive, dirty, secret, illegal, dark deal completely. Sylvia promised to testify against her own cruel husband in court. She offered to give me all his hidden, secret, dark documents. She only wanted to keep her massive, expensive, beautiful luxury mansion. She also begged to keep all her shiny, expensive stolen jewelry. She was a completely, totally, incredibly ruthless, selfish, greedy, dark monster. She happily sold her own husband to protect her rich luxury life. She did not know I recorded her secret dirty phone call perfectly. I pressed a simple digital button on my small bright phone. I emailed the clear, loud audio recording directly to Victor instantly. I did not add a single quiet typed word to the message. I simply let him listen to his beautiful, loyal, sweet wife. I let him hear her massive, terrible, cold, dark, ugly betrayal. I poured another hot cup of sweet, relaxing, beautiful herbal tea. I imagined the massive, screaming, violently angry fight inside their mansion. They were two greedy, hungry, dangerous, wild animals trapped completely together. The cold, dark, poisonous snake finally bit the deadly, angry, toxic spider. They destroyed their own fake, beautiful plastic marriage completely, perfectly tonight. They blamed each other for their massive, terrible, dark legal failures. They fought incredibly viciously right before their massive, serious criminal trial. My quiet, silent, invisible psychological revenge was incredibly, beautifully, totally flawless. The massive, serious federal criminal trial was incredibly, amazingly, totally short. The strict, powerful, angry judge saw the absolute, pure, complete truth. The heavy, solid banking evidence was completely, perfectly, absolutely, flawlessly clear. Victor could not hide behind his expensive, smart, sneaky lawyers anymore. The serious, strict judge hit his heavy wooden hammer very loudly. He sentenced Victor to 15 long, dark, cold, terrible, miserable years. Victor had to live inside a dangerous, noisy, crowded federal prison. He lost his freedom and his proud, arrogant, shiny, fake dignity. The angry judge also announced a massive, heavy, strict financial punishment. He officially legally ordered the immediate, total, absolute, complete, permanent seizure. The government took every single expensive, shiny luxury thing they owned. They lost the massive mansion and the fast, expensive imported cars. They needed to repay my stolen millions completely, perfectly, totally, entirely. Sylvia cried massive, real hot, wet, bitter tears inside the quiet courtroom. She realized she was absolutely, completely, officially, permanently, completely, totally broke. She became a very poor, miserable, homeless, weak, tired, sad woman today. Sylvia tried to walk out of the quiet, serious courtroom quickly. But she still wore my beautiful, expensive, bright green emerald necklace. She tried to hide the shiny, precious jewelry under her dark coat. A strong, strict federal police officer stopped her at the heavy doors. The strict officer officially ordered her to remove the stolen necklace. Sylvia screamed loudly and begged to keep the precious, expensive, shiny rock. The officer forced her to take it off completely, instantly, publicly. She handed the heavy, cold, beautiful jewelry directly back to me. I held my precious, sweet, romantic memory in my warm hands. I smiled a very small, gentle, quiet, peaceful, completely empty smile. Victor and Sylvia walked out into the cold rain completely empty-handed. They possessed absolutely zero shiny coins and zero beautiful, happy future. My sweet, quiet, dead husband finally received absolute, pure, perfect justice. The massive, ugly, dark, heavy, toxic infection was completely, permanently cured. I walked out of the serious building feeling incredibly, completely free. The bright, warm, sunny sky looked incredibly, beautifully, totally, perfectly clear. I successfully recovered all my $120 million. I moved out of my small, cheap, dark, cold, quiet apartment. I bought a beautiful, comfortable, warm, bright house with a large garden. I planted beautiful, bright red roses to honor my sweet dead husband. I decided to use my massive, rich wealth for true, absolute good. I created a massive, generous, beautiful medical charity fund for poor people. I wanted to help sick, weak, tired, struggling families heal completely, perfectly. A good, smart, careful nurse always wants to save fragile human lives. The federal bank officially sold Victor massive, expensive luxury mansion publicly. I used my rich money to buy the huge, empty property immediately. I did not want to live inside their dark, ugly, toxic house. I completely, perfectly, totally transformed the massive building entirely beautifully today. I renovated the huge empty mansion into a free public medical clinic. Poor struggling sick people received free expensive medicine and warm safe beds. The beautiful shiny luxury rooms became bright clean white quiet hospital rooms. I completely erased their dark greedy history with pure bright healing love. I walked out of my beautiful new free public clinic one afternoon. I looked across the busy noisy street at a cheap fast food restaurant. I saw a very tired, sad, dirty older woman working the cash register. She wore a cheap, ugly plastic uniform and looked incredibly, deeply miserable. It was Sylvia taking dirty, cheap coins from loud, angry, hungry customers. She lost her beautiful, expensive, shiny dresses and her wealthy, proud friends. She had to scrub dirty, greasy floors for absolute minimum cheap wages. She looked at me and quickly hid her tired, ashamed, crying face. I did not walk over to mock her terrible, sad, dark pain. I simply turned around and walked back to my beautiful, quiet garden. I sat on my warm, sunny porch and drank hot, sweet herbal tea. The gentle, warm spring breeze felt incredibly, wonderfully, totally, perfectly, perfectly soft. True, ultimate, perfect revenge is never about loud screaming or terrible violence. True, sweet revenge is watching cruel, toxic thieves destroy themselves completely naturally. True, absolute revenge is living an incredibly happy, powerful, rich, successful, honest life. My beautiful, quiet, brave, bright rebirth was my absolute final perfect victory.